Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Stitches and Stencils, which is a monthly series I do with MK and Sandie where we do stitching and stenciling on our layouts. And this is also Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. The sketch today is by Tara Van Moorsel. And I stayed pretty true to the sketch today. I am going to be using some flip-flops on this particular layout. You can see here I'm trying to figure out which way to do the flip-flops, and then I actually didn't realize I was going to do a flip-flop that opened left to right versus up to down, and so I ended up switching that one out. I'm going to be doing a flip-flop on the right hand side, a flip-flop on the top of the two horizontal photos, and then the right hand of the left page. You're not going to see me do a whole lot with the flip-flops, but I'm trying to keep that in mind as I am creating. I do forget towards the end and end up putting that the smallest of the three circles right over his photo instead of underneath it. But because the flip-flop goes on the outside of the page protector, I'm not too concerned about it. These are christening photos of the little guy I take care of, and those three circular pieces, those were left over from yesterday's layout. So I cut out a bunch of really thin circular pieces yesterday, and these were the bits in between, and I didn't have all of my circles lined up when I did it, and that's why they are kind of wonky, which is okay. I am going with that, and I'm okay with it. I am using a really old punch from Little B. It is a ticket punch. I recently started using this in the last couple months, and I really like this punch. I've had it for many years and have never used it, and so now that I have found it, I'm going to be using it more, I'm sure, and this company is not even in business anymore, but I really like the ticket punch, so I'm going to go with it. I originally thought it was just going to be a border underneath that other kind of goldish yellow strip there, but I am going to trim both of those strips down so they fit inside the punch areas, and then I am inking them up with some gold Catherine Pooler metallic ink. So here's where I'm trimming down these strips. These are little ticket strips. They say admit one. It's a paper from Bo Bunny. Actually, I believe all my papers today, except for the black, are all from Bo Bunny. I also used my distress tool from Some Assemblage Required to go ahead and distress the edges of those strips just to give some added texture. Originally, I thought that I was just going to have my black tickets sticking out from below the bottom edge of those strips, but I really liked them showing at the top and the bottom, so that's why I decided to go ahead and trim down those little gold strips. So I'm liking how that's looking. I know I'm not going to be using my patterned paper all the way across my black paper, so I know I'm going to be trimming that down, so I'm just marking where I need to trim it down with relation to where my photos need to go. And so I just marked that with a pencil, and I'm going to trim it down with my little guillotine trimmer here. And that worked out really well so that I can have a little bit of a black border all the way around. Now my intention is that I'm going to do a bunch of stenciling on that black paper. You're going to see me do the stenciling on the black paper. I end up not liking it. So I end up switching out my black paper and doing some different stenciling on my black paper, which I like a lot better. And then I'm going to use the original stenciled pieces inside my circular pieces. So you're going to see that happen here in just a bit. I'm trying to decide if those two stacked photos on the right hand side are going to sit above the line of the tickets or if they're going to go below, and ultimately I decide they need to go below because they're just a little bit too tall, and I don't mind it really covering the ticketed area anyway. I'm thinking that I'm going to be leaving a little bit of room at the bottom for journaling on that ledger paper. In reality, there will be some room, but not as much as it looks there because my title is going to fit at the bottom of the ledger paper or the lined paper on the left-hand page. So I pulled out my really old Kaisercraft stencil that is supposed to look like oh my goodness, birch bark, I believe is what that is. I don't know. It's some kind of bark that's like peeling or peeled paint. But yeah, it's too much. And this is actually a stencil that I love a lot. I've used it many times. It's just too much. I'm using some gold stencil butter. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Yeah, gold stencil butter. And it just becomes too much. I don't know if it's because I did way too much or it just competes with the background paper, but I wasn't really liking it. I did lay my papers up there and thought really quickly, not going to happen. So I set that aside. Actually, I think I set it aside to dry, and then I decided once it was dry and I put everything up there that it wasn't what I wanted. But while it's drying, I am using my circle template from Some Assemblage Required, which is MK's shop. This is a template that lets you do concentric circles, or you can move it around and do whatever size circles you want on your page. And so I'm just using a pokey tool. This particular one in my hand right now is from We Are Memory Keepers. It's a pokey tool on one end and I think like a brad flattener on the other end or something like that. And I got that from a friend of mine many moons ago, so I don't really know if that's even still made. And the other one that I use, the little yellow one, is a really old Amy Tangerine product. But because I was doing so many of the holes, my hand was kind of getting a cramp in it from using the little yellow one, which is my go-to, so I switched to the purple one. Any pokey tool would probably work well. I know MK is going to be probably stocking some pokey tools in her shop to go with the templates, but I don't know if they're in the shop quite yet. So spoiler alert, I believe those are coming. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that or not. So anyway, I pulled out this other stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. I am using some black stencil butter in Marcasite. It's Marcasite black. And it's just tone on tone. It does have a silvery kind of a shimmer to it. And I like that a lot better. Even though I have more gold undertones in my layout, I'm just playing with the black on black and going really simple with it. And I think it looks so much better, and it's going to play well once I get my thickers on there, because actually they're not even thicker brand. I'm not sure what brand they are, but I'm going to be using some alpha stickers that are shiny, a sparkly black, and the sparkle is kind of a silvery color, so it's going to go well with that. So I thought I'd take my original stenciled pieces and put them inside my circular pieces, which works fine, except I still felt it was kind of bold. So you're going to see me tone that down with some vellum paper right over the top of it. And I like it so much better, so much better. So hopefully, yeah, it was quite a bit of work and a lot of extra time involved in this layout, but it's a special occasion. I wanted to make sure I got it right. I wanted it to be, you know, I don't want to say solemn, but I wanted it to be a little bit more serious than playful, even though in the photos there are some playful things going on. In the photo in the middle, he is actually screaming his head off. He's making the funniest mad, angry baby face ever. And, you know, I say that with all, I don't normally laugh when babies are crying, but in the photo it's funny. It probably wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny now. His parents kind of chuckle about it as well. And so, yeah, he was all fine with it until a certain point in time, and then he was very angry about it. And so we definitely caught that. That photo is going to be under the flip flap though, so I wanted the overall layout to not look, you know, I'm not poking fun at it or anything like that. But you know, babies respond in a certain way, and sometimes it's expected, sometimes it's not expected, and you can definitely tell by his face he's not sad, he's not scared, he is mad. But so, and then yeah, he's got a onesie on the right hand side that says Straight Out of Holy Water. But that again is one that is going to be underneath a flip flap, so you're not going to see that, and so it's, you know, the jovial side of things or the angry side of things are not going to be shown until you flip up the flip flaps. And so I want to keep it looking nice. I found this vellum in my stash that has kind of a gold splatter on it, which is very subtle, and I think it works really well. And so I'm going to go ahead and tuck that in to my circle areas here to kind of tone down the level of mixed media that's going on there. And then I also glued along the edge, which I'm going to try and figure out a way to hide some of that glue, even though I know I'm not going to hide all of it. You know, vellum's one of those things. It doesn't seem to matter what adhesive you use. Even the ones that say they're vellum friendly don't always respond vellum friendly. So you just never know. So here's my title. It just says Christening. It's not going to be anything crazy or anything like that. It does give me a little bit of room right below the word christening or to the right of it on the next page over, so that I can go ahead and do some journaling, or his mom can do the journaling, because I actually wasn't there that day. I think we had alternate plans that day and we're not able to attend. So now I have 3 dies. This one is old. It's been in my stash for a long time. I'm not really sure what brand it is. And then the other 2 I actually got from somebody else. They're not my, they were not originally my dies, but there's no packaging on them or anything, and they've been around for a long time. It was somebody who was getting rid of their stash, and so I do not know where they're from either. So I cannot give you any information on the dies used today, but they all have the same kind of filigree, soft feel to them, and I thought those were really nice. They also have like birds and butterflies, which is kind of like, you know, new beginnings and fresh starts, and so I thought that those would work well for this layout. And so I'm pretty happy with the way that those all came together, even though they are 3 completely different, probably 3 different manufacturers. I don't know. Those top 2 could be the same for all I know. While I finish up this layout, I want to remind you there are people playing along with 30 Days of Sketches. There's a playlist link down below, and there is also a link to Sandie and MK's channels for you for Stitches and Stencils. So you can go and get a lot more inspiration using the same sketch and using stitching and stenciling on your layout if you are interested in that. So check out those links down below. Close-ups are coming. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Oh, I should mention that circle that is overlapping on the right-handmost photo where the butterfly is. I'm going to punch another one of those butterflies. It's going to go on the outside of the flip flap that's going over that photo, so it'll look like just a duplicate of the butterfly when you lift it up. So that's my resolution for fixing my little mistake of gluing that butterfly down before I realized that it's going to be under a flip flap. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hit the thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys again soon with another one. Bye-bye.